$100 grant. No questions? Call the question.
Mr. Castro?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes. Mrs. Shapiro, Finance?
Finance met this evening, going through the budget line by line. Still more work to do. I had to leave early. Do we have a date for the next meeting?
We actually didn't
Not
discuss
for
it,
us,
so.
okay.
I think at this point,
We can email.
the superintendent and the BA need to sit and meet and then
Okay.
let us know where we're
And
at.
then we'll reconvene. Okay, so this evening, I'd like to present items D1 through D6 for approval.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Walker. Any questions? Call the question.
Mr. Castro?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes?
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes, personnel, Mrs. Walker?
Yes, I'd like to present F1, but with a little change, and on 5A, the rate to be determined on that.
Do I have a second?
So moved.
Any questions? Call the question.
Mr. Castro?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes?
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes. We'll skip delegate report. Oh, we did that already. Policy, Mrs. Levy is not here. Who's on policy? Oh, Mrs. Shapiro.
Oh, I think I am.
Are we ready to,
Sure,
are we
hold
good
on,
to
I'm in the
move those?
I'm in the wrong report. Hold, please.
Are we good with those policies?
Yeah, we actually reviewed these
Okay.
in the past and then
Yep.
didn't adopt them for some reason. Okay, so this evening, I'd like to make a motion to approve the policies in item G1.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Walker. Any questions or comments? Call the question.
Mr. Castro?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes?
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes, public relations, Mr. Griffin is away. Mrs. Walker, you seem to be on all the committees that no one's here, so anything going on? I saw the newsletter.
Yes.
Is that going out yet, or are we going to still make changes to it?
It's still, it's in the final stages, not going out yet.
Okay,
Yes.
so, because I think Rita has some changes, maybe some,
I
a
have
few
some
issues. Yeah.
suggested changes, so
Maybe like
maybe
typos or
I can, right, so maybe I can pop in and see Deirdre
Yep.
with the hand changes.
Just before
It's
it goes
easier
out.
than trying to write, so if we could hold up on that until, I emailed her already that I would have some of my suggested changes by tomorrow, but let's make it Friday.
Okay.
If that's okay. And the brochure, I think we're still working on the brochure, correct, to get that out. And we will be having our meeting in the beginning of April, where...
April 1st.
April 1st, where New Jersey school boards will be coming to discuss participation, community participation.
Engagement, it's their kind of
Engagement.
class, yeah.
Which is all in coordination with what public relations is trying to do. And your minutes are in your packet, too.
Okay. Open to the public. AJ, you have anything to say? Any old or new business?
I have some new business. If anyone else, no one?
Go ahead.
No? So today we sent out the letter for coronavirus. You know, that's a big issue. It seems like it's been weeks since last week, but, you know, lots have changed since this past weekend. You know, while we're fortunate here in the U.S., you know, based on CDC numbers, I wrote them down really quick yesterday. You know, there's only 14 people who were traveling abroad who've been infected. Actually, 12 of them were actually traveling. 2 were close family members who were subsequently infected, but there's only 14 of them. And then we also evacuated people on the Diamond Princess in Japan, and there were 40 of those individuals who have the virus. And then there were 3 other people who were repatriated who are not on that ship. So in total, the 14 and the 43, there's 57 people in the U.S. who are in facilities, not in the general public. But the problem with this disease is that the incubation period is very long, and you're contagious during this incubation period. So we're really looking in the rearview mirror for about 2 weeks. We don't really know what's happening today until 2 weeks from now. And, that's a concern. We are a large school, and we have a lot of kids that we're supposed to be responsible for. So I just want to make sure. I know that we're meeting on Friday, and we're going to be discussing some things. I just hope that the superintendent, the business administrator, the principal, have suggestions, maybe of the board, for, how we're going to handle inevitably this epidemic. Because from what I've read, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And, we can wait until we're directed, to do something, or we can be proactive. And, I prefer, for us to think ahead. And so if you can let us know, as soon as you can, if you need anything from us, decision-wise, from the board, if you could make that a priority.
Any other old or new business?
I just wanted to I'm not, besides cleaning protocols, I think number one overall at all times is keeping to current policies. If you're sick, stay home, right? That's for everybody, they need, and follow protocols. I hope it doesn't get to that. I really do. Different topic, this is kind of old business. She's not here, but I had a chance to review what Robin circulated about what they mentioned about regionalizing when she went to the conference, and I thought this was really interesting. I had no idea that the governor earmarked $2 million to study K through 12 consolidation and regionalization, and it would eliminate nearly, if it actually happened, 300 school districts, including 31 in Bergen County. So I thought this was really interesting, and we'll see what happens with this.
To that point, Nancy, I think it was mentioned at the presentation, though, that of those school districts in Bergen County, we probably wouldn't even qualify because we're so small. That money would be allocated to those districts more in South Jersey where they're larger. And all of the participating districts that would be considered to be consolidating would have to agree.
Right.
So right then and there. And then once they even all agreed, the laborious steps that you have to go through, the attorney, it was
It said the
directly
one, it
from
was
the
$1
attorney.
million for one dissolution process topped $1 million. It's a lot, so I don't think.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
It's interesting, read, and as soon as you
Really
hear that,
interesting.
you think, oh, let us step up and maybe get some money on this to even look into it. But we wouldn't even qualify
Yeah.
because of the size of the district and the partnership that wouldn't be cooperative.
I just want to make sure, we definitely put Mr. Walsh on for this coming weekend on our last,
It was
Okay.
at the last board meeting, but one prior.
but it was for this coming weekend? Because he's always going, so is it,
It was the 29th state.
so it's definitely on?
He was put on in September for all policy dates for the entirety.
Oh, he was?
Regionals and states.
Oh. Good. Any other old or new business? We're happy to have Mr. Castro. We're happy to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
Any need to go into a closed session? Anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All right. Have a good week. We're back March 11th.
Enjoy that.
Oh, I forgot to say one thing. The new committees are in the packets. Yeah. I forgot to tell you.